One Piece 1150 spoilers: Im has devil powers. One Piece manga spoiler chapter 1150 finally gives a clue about Im's incredible power, which is also very terrifying. In chapter 1149, One Piece fans were shocked by the figure of Gunko, who turned out to know Brook. What's even more terrifying is that Gunko was controlled by Im from the Pangaea Palace. Im also began to show his level of strength, which had been a mystery all this time. One Piece chapter 1150 is known to have the title Domi Reversi, which apparently has a connection with the level of power possessed by Imu. The chapter itself opens with a continuation of what happened to Gunko, where he was controlled by Imu from afar. Chapter 1150 opens with how Imu or Gunko releases his extraordinary haki abilities. The power of haki is shown to be able to defeat the giants on Elbaph Island, including Dory and Bragi and the children, who are also prisoners of Gunko. Dory and Bragi themselves then try to attack Im or Gunko with their power. However, Im then shows his ability where he uses a magic book which makes many knives appear. The knives were then stuck in the arms of the two giants. Not only did it take out the knife, it turned out that Imu's magic book also took out a gun that also shot Bragi's arm. The interesting fact is that because the current condition or status in Elbaph does not have a leader or king, this makes him appoint Dory and Bragi to be the new leaders of Elbaph. Im then uses a terrifying technique called Devil's Contract. The technique turns out to have an effect on Dory and Bragi to transform into giant devil figures. In fact, the level of power itself is very terrifying, and it is known that both of them cannot die. However, all the awesomeness of the power they have must be exchanged with their lives. Chapter 1150 then closes with Im or Gunko leading a demon army that is not just an ordinary demon army that was resurrected by Im. A giant demon army is also part of the army presented by Im or Gunko. The demon army then moves with one goal, namely to finish off Gerald, who is the oldest giant figure in Elbaph and the oldest figure so far. The giant demon figure presented by Im is not just any figure. The size of his body itself is also very large, where his size is known to be as big as oars. Fortunately, there is no break for next week. So chapter 1151 will be released according to schedule, and the spoiler itself will likely be released a few days before the official release. Based on spoiler 1150, we finally start to know more or less what Im's power is like. Since he was first introduced in the Reverie arc, fans have been curious about what Im looks like and also his power level. One speculation that is quite widespread among fans states that Im is possibly a demon figure who gives power to the Holy Knights and Gorosei. This seems to confirm that Im is indeed a demon who then uses his power to rule the world. However, from what appears in the One Piece 1150 spoiler, it gives a hint that Im is likely not a demon but is a figure who worships a demon. In this case, it is similar to what appears in the comic story that Im made a deal with the devil. The agreement then made Im the leader of the world, where the devil then gave Im tremendous power which Im was able to rule for 800 years. No one could shift or destroy Im's power because the devil's power was too strong. However, there is another possibility from where Im could get the source of that power. In the spoiler, it is said that Im uses a magic book which could be the source of Imu-sama's true power. Like the Darkhold in the MCU story where Wanda Maximoff eventually turns evil, in the One Piece story it is shown how Imu-sama reads and uses the magic book and then becomes an evil figure who tries to rule the world. Where did the magic book come from? Is this the treasure of the sky dragons that Doflamingo talked about at that time? Is this also a magic book that has existed since the First World? And various other questions about the magic book are certainly things that fans are waiting for to be discussed further. It is certainly interesting to see how Nika faces Im's demon army. Reasons for the destruction of the Ancient Kingdom. As explained by Vegapunk in the previous Egghead arc, the Ancient Kingdom is a very influential kingdom. They have an important role in the long history of the storyline in the series. According to Vegapunk's explanation, all the advanced technology on Egghead Island comes from the Ancient Kingdom. They are a kingdom famous for their technological advancement and civilization. Unfortunately, this kingdom was destroyed about 800 years ago when 20 kingdoms gathered and united to form an alliance and attack the ancient kingdom. What then became the reason for their attack on the ancient kingdom is still a big mystery until now. However, some fans think that advanced civilization and sophisticated technology are the reasons why they attacked the ancient kingdom. Other kingdoms consider this kingdom as a threat to them. The Nefertari family and also Don Quixote are some of the names involved in the attack. The Kazuki clan then used poneglyph to tell what happened at that time, in the various poneglyphs they created. The history of the ancient kingdom in the One Piece series, the attack on 20 kingdoms, and various other historical secrets they tried to store in the artifact. On the other hand, fans are also curious about how a kingdom with an advanced and modern civilization could then lose in battle against an alliance of 20 kingdoms. The most reasonable thing, of course, is how the ancient kingdom was outnumbered. Although they have advanced technology, the One Piece manga spoiler chapter 1150 provides the possibility of how they lost. In addition to the number, also likely used a magic book like the one he currently uses on Gunko and also Dory and Broggy. They turned into very scary demons where their body size is as big as oars. Likely used the magic book to form a demon army that aims to destroy the ancient kingdom. Most likely the mysterious giants in Thriller Bark, then the skull of the monster in Onigashima, and Oars himself, who was controlled by Moria at that time, were probably the result of changes that had made hundreds of years ago. This is how I'm destroyed the ancient kingdom, which was full of technology. However, as mentioned above, it is interesting to see how Nika then faces these demons, considering that Nika has difficulty facing the Gorosei. Will Loki help Luffy? We still have to wait. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thanks a lot for watching. Luffy lovers.